Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadhilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, we welcome each and every one of you joining us here today, viewing Nithyananda TV, Kailasa's official TV channel. Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, has taken the unimaginable responsibility to revive Hinduism through the Kailasa nation, through Shri Kailasa. Swamiji, as a part of this great effort to revive Hinduism, revive Sanatana Hindu Dharma, revive the Kailasa ecosystem, has opened up the voting, Hindu voting, to all of us, to allow Hindus to decide Hinduism for us. Swamiji has been conducting responsible voting for the past 26 years through various programs and teachings and through his daily satsangs. Now, as the Kailasa nation is being evolved, is being revived, Swamiji has opened up the voting, the Hindu voting, to all of us, to allow all of us to have our discussions, have our Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas debates, and cast our vote as to what do we think should be the stance Hinduism takes on various issues regarding Hinduism. Over the past couple of weeks, we have extensively discussed about vegetarianism and non-vegetarianism. We have discussed about the Hindu caste system, the Varna and Jati system. We have also discussed about puja, how puja is important for us and whether puja should be made as a mandatory law or should be left to the individual's convenience. Before we enter into the Jivartha Sadhas, let us watch a short clip by where Swamiji himself explains how the system of Hindu voting is not something which has been started in the recent 100-200 years, but has been there from time immemorial, where the references to the Hindu voting system from our Vedas, our Agamas, and our Puranas and Itihasas as well. Swamiji also explains how just casting your vote alone is not enough. Voicing out our opinions, giving out having the Jivartha Sadhas, having the debate, the discussion, all these are also very important, so that it is not only we will have clarity and amongst ourselves we will be able to take an educated decision, but it will benefit posterity as well. In the future generations, when they look back, when it's time for them to reinvent themselves, they'll be able to take much better decisions listening to the Jivartha Sadhas that we are having now. So with this, let us now just watch a short clip where Swamiji himself explains the science of Jivartha Sadhas, explains the importance of it and how it helps in the Hindu voting. Please stay tuned.
On this auspicious Deepavali day, we have very beautiful announcement. The Hindu votes are sacred. The Hindu votes matter. Hindus vote for Hinduism. Activity is getting consolidated and presented to all of you. I want all of you to know this voting system is in Hinduism from time immemorial. Even in the Vedas and Puranas, there are references where a concept is debated and voted. Not only in our Vedas and Agamas, even in the Puranas, there are enough historical reference. From time immemorial, this tradition was there, doing Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas, Anubhava Mantapa discussions, and then voting for certain concepts, principles, ideas decisions, to come to conclusions. So that same tradition handed over to me from my Guru Parampara, and I have revived for last 26 years of my life. I have revived this whole system, and here I am presenting the whole system. The Hindu parliament system and Hindu voting system. The work we have done in the last 26 years in multiple Satsangs, public programs, I used to explain a concept and ask for people to raise their hands to vote for this side or that side. If you many times, if you attended my live Satsangs programs in those days, you will know very clearly. I used to explain a concept, then I'll ask whoever understands, cognizes, please raise your hand. And I'll always explain the other side and say, whoever understands this principle, raise your hand. So it is the principle adopted from the ancient time. I was reviving the original parliament system as per the cosmic constitution of Hinduism. Continuously, we will do Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas, and ask the Hindus to vote for various Hindu matters and offer the Vidhi and Nisheda, the Smriti for this Yuga. The Smriti for this Yuga will be revealed through Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas and voting. Finally, approved by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, we will be bringing new Smriti to life for this modern day. In Hinduism, active participation is expected. See, you may vote just by saying yes or no, but that will be considered only as a participation, not active participation. If you give an explanation, your viewpoint, why you are voting for what you are voting, why you are doing what you are doing. If you present your powerful cognitions too, it will help the next generation Hindus. See, when you have a reason to vote for vegetarian food, and if you explain the reason also, after 100 years, if that reason has changed or that reason has become irrelevant, people can change the decision. So it will help for the generations to enjoy your expertise and your intelligence. That is the reason we request you to put your powerful cognitions, your thought currents also on record in the form of Vakyartha Sadhas and Jivartha Sadhas.
Yes, so we're back. Swamiji beautifully explained how the Hindu voting system is something of not from recent era, but of something from time immemorial. We've been conducting voting for as long as we can remember, and Swamiji is reviving that system back, giving us all the opportunity to decide the way we want to live Hinduism. One of the plus points about Hinduism is that we have so many ideals, so many way of beliefs, and choosing the correct way for modern society today is our responsibility. So without further ado, let me introduce the other guests who have joined us today here for the Jivartha Sadhas. Along with myself, Sri Nithya Mangalananda Maharaj. We also have Sri Nithya Rajananda Maharaj joining from Adi Kailasa Abode. And from around the globe, we have people joining us as well. We have Murliyaya and Rajshekaranaya both joining us from Chennai. We have Dr. Murliyaya also joining us from Chennai. We also have Shanti Dasaya joining us from Orlando, Florida. we have Balasubramaniam Ayya joining us from Chennai, and we also have Bhagan Reddy Ayya also joining us from US, Texas. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. So nice to have you all here. So before we continue, let's just go around and everyone share a few words about themselves, how they've met Swamiji, and a little bit about the professional life for all the viewers, so that we'll have a little bit of background. Yes, we can go ahead with Murli and Rajshekharan. Ayya, please go ahead.
Nithyanandam to all. My name is Rajshekar. I am from Chennai, settled in Chennai. Actually, in the year 2007, I got a book written by Swamiji. I got a lot of clicks. Then I attended a first program for chakra meditation. It has done a lot of wonder in me. So I understood that the person behind that meditation should be big, very intelligent. Otherwise, it's not that easy. In 2 days, it's not even done by Swamiji himself. It was done by an acharya. Then it started and expanded. Then with Swamiji, I went to in the Himalayas trip, I joined him. Thereafter, many things happened. And from 2007, I am with Swamiji. I am with the Sangha. Thank you very much.
This is Murali from Chennai. I had been with Swamiji right way back from 2013, and I was kind of unsettled in my career and unsure of what I'm doing, where I'm going. And Swamiji used to used to say in his Satsangs that we are all unconscious. We are all leading unconscious lives. I did not know the meaning of this term even when I heard about this, not only from Swamiji but from even from other books, other even in other spiritual commentaries. I've read this term, unconscious lives. I actually did not know what that meant until I came to Swamiji and listened to him speak about different dimensions of life. And I realized now experientially, yes, I have been leading unconscious lives. And I began to realize many new dimensions about myself. So inner awakening is not a simple fancy term. It is really awakening your inner self. He's actually introduced a new me to me. How exactly it is, what exactly he has done, I will discuss, I'll explain in further meetings like this, Vakyartha Sadhas like this, and more so to some specific questions which will be posed by other participants or Maharaj himself, so that everybody will have a more time, fair amount of time to talk. As of now, I will stop myself here. I'm a teacher by profession, and Swamiji has helped me a lot. So I'll pass over the mic to some other participants. Let me explain further in answer to further questions. Thank you.
Nithyanandam Maharaj. I got introduced to Swamiji, even though I have heard of Swamiji's name earlier, through Raju Malhotra. I used to be presenting papers in Raju Malhotra's Swadeshi Indology conferences. And then I saw this interview with Rajiv and Swamiji, and there they talk extensively about Hinduism and science. One thing that really clicked with me was the rebirth, and there is a lot of evidence for rebirth. With the University of Virginia School of Medicine, Division of Perceptual Studies has over 3,000 cases of recorded rebirth. And they have also even compiled them and published them. And this research has been happening there for over 40 years. So every from rebirth to every aspect that they were discussing completely gelled with the evidence that modern science is now accumulating. So I got really interested, and I actually wanted to use the third eye powers to be able to imbibe knowledge faster, so that it will help me in my multi-speciality research, or multi-field research, basically. And then I attended Adult Nithyanandoham, and then Mahasadashivoham and Paramashivoham. So my association with Swamiji formally started with May 2017. Thank you, Maharaj. Nithyanandam.
Yes, Ayya, please go ahead.
Yes. I live in Orlando, Florida, with my family. I have 2 children, and By profession, I'm a senior executive at a IT company here. So I came to know Swamiji in 2016, 2017. I went to Inner Awakening 2017 April, and 2016 same way I was. My life went through a transformation in 2014 when I read a book called Being Different by Rajiv Malhotra. That kind of changed my life, my perception of it with everything. I became a small-time Hindu activist, bought quite a few books of him, started giving it to libraries and things like that, and having open discussions as well as many times emotional outbursts with many of my friends. And in 2016, I was watching one of the video. I knew about Swami a little bit here and there, but not. I was not really paying a lot of attention. But in 2016, I watched one of his interview with Rajiv Malhotra, and that drew me a little closer. And I was also in some kind of career trouble, not trouble per se, but a lot of fear and anxiety that was developed in my career. So that led me to a few of his Swamiji's online session in 2016, 2017 January, and then I went to another online session in March. Then I decided to go for Inner Awakening program. Then after I went to Inner Awakening program, then I realized what this is all about. Till then, I had no clue. So that kind of changed everything. So that my experience and everything was completely transformed. So basically, I have heard about Kundalini, but I didn't know what it is. Means maybe it is just a term somewhere I heard. So there are a lot of transformations happened. It means experiential transformation happened, which you might have read in stories and things like that. Means those are all even beyond imagination or beyond even if you talk to someone who even practicing Hindu, they won't be able to understand. Only Swamiji's disciple or whoever has experience through, they will be able to truly understand what I am saying. So after that, I had many experiences and I'm with Swamiji. So just continuing with Sangha. I'm happy devotee now. So
Thank you so much, Aya. Thank you so much for joining us here today. So we also have Bhagan Reddy Aya joining us from Texas, USA. Please go ahead, Aya.
Yeah, Nithyanandam, to everybody. I'm married with 2 kids, a boy and girl, and been Swamiji's follower since 2009. And now I say I have found my guru, and so after meeting so many people, and I was a Shiva Bhakta until 1985. Then I became disillusioned because of our Pandit's misrepresentation of teaching of that. Then I was an anti-God, anti-guru, anti-society, anti-establishment, everything until 2005. Then there's an organization called Hindu American Foundation. Hindu American Foundation has awakened me. I used to be a Kumbhakarna, sleeping giant of Hindu, like everybody else. And so they were suing the California a textbook for misrepresentation of Hinduism, and the official government textbooks for 8th grade, they were teaching that the most peaceful religion is Hinduism. You think, right? No, the most peaceful religion in the whole world is Islam. The most violent religion in the world is Hinduism. Wow, I thought it's just reversed, right? That infuriated, my blood boiled, and then we started campaigning, and I joined them, and I contributed money and brought all my friends to that, and they sued the government, and the court agreed with these parents of that. So that I've activated. Later on, in 2005, met Rajiv Malhotra, and he has trained me as a Hindu activist. They call it intellectual Kshatriya. Since 2005, I've been a Hindu activist, intellectual Kshatriya, but I still didn't have any. I was only fighting for the social identity, defense of me, because I have never seen a Hindu, hitting and throwing up bombs or throwing bombs or the buildings or killing people. I haven't seen it anywhere. I never heard of in any history. And this is atrocious and ridiculous and totally false narrative being done in the whole US and in the media and the Hollywood and things like that. So I felt it was ridiculous and outrageous. So then we started a non-profit organization with the inspiration of Dr. Rajiv Malhotra, and then we've been doing, and still I didn't find the fulfillment in my life. I have achieved the American dream, and but still I didn't find the fulfillment without going to permanently to India. Maybe find that. So then within 6 months we realized that you could not live as a Hindu. In America, I can go like this vibhuti and go to my office. I do my business like that every day, but I couldn't even live in India. So I just decided, India was the most intolerant towards Hindus and most accepting to all other religions. That I found it in 2009. And then I said, man, this is unlivable for Hindus. India was unlivable, intolerant towards this. So we came back to US, but my son and daughter always wanted to go back to Gurukul. That's where, when we decided to come back, we met Swamiji, one of our Hindu activists, introduced Swamiji in 2009. And we attended the first LBE. That time my kids attended Gurukul. After came back, they kept on insisting they wanted to go back to Gurukul. After 1 year, I sent both of them. So that's how I used to be an IT guy for 17 years. Then I'm an entrepreneur now, been in the business for 7 years. And so that's how I became Swamiji's disciple. And Swamiji is great. He's completely transformed me. I understand now our epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana are real. They're just as real as, British ruled India, as real as Mughals ruled India. That real. And he has given me health. Swamiji has given me health, wealth, happiness, harmony, peace of mind, abundance of everything. And so that's what it is. What I couldn't find, a fulfillment, Swamiji has given me. That's why Swamiji is my hero. And so I just want to do whatever little bit. Yeah. That's where I start. And so they have been inviting me for this NTV. I couldn't make it, but this time I was able to make it. So that's a little bit about me.
Spiritual resume.
Yes, thank you so much
Sorry?
Ria, for joining us here
Good
today.
spiritual resume.
Yes.
Murli Ayya, what are you saying?
I'm saying good spiritual resume.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, so it's so nice to have all of you. I think this is the largest we've had as a panel till now, with almost 8 people joining us here today. So looking forward to towards this Vakyartha Sadhas. So before we start the discussion itself, let's just go over a few facts and figures which were brought to us today so we're going to be looking a little bit into the Joshua Project. So the Joshua Project is a Christian initiated project, completely Christian funded, for the sake of converting and reaching out to as many people as possible, just to convert them to Christianity. So let's look into the slides now. The way religious conversion happens in most parts of the world is through, number 1, militant missionaries who convert by deceit. Missionary militants who convert by force. So we've seen examples of both in the history of India, in the history of Hinduism. First by the Islam, when they came and forcibly tried to convert us, and the second by the Christians, when they came and cunningly tried to convert us. So we've seen examples of both, and majorly in the world, these are the only major two ways where conversion is happening right now. So now let's just watch a small video about the Joshua Project and how much they have we have a small video of a person explaining how they function and giving with facts and figures how easy they are able to convert people in India.
This right here is one of the most exciting facts in our world today. Over 14,000 Indians will leave their Hindu idolatry today and embrace Jesus. Now, I use that in a kind of just a general, denominational type of term. 14,000 every single day. Click, click, click. What an open door. When a young person there decides they're no longer going to worship rocks and sticks and stones and critters, then they start looking for the truth. And that's when they come to us. You see, because that is what happens in India. People ask me, they say, Dave, where do you work in India? Everywhere. Everywhere you see a name and a dot is a place that Church of Christ India Missions has a significant evangelistic work going. And each one of those places acts as a hub to reach out into neighboring states, neighboring districts, neighboring neighborhoods, neighboring whatever happens to be neighboring. And this is our report from last year. A lot of numbers up here. But I want to particularly draw your mind to this right here, this column. This is the number of gospel meetings. Last year, our team conducted over 500,000 gospel meetings in India. And I explained what those were during our Bible class hour. They're exact copies of what Peter did with Cornelius in Acts. That this right here is one of the most exciting facts in our world today. Over 14,000 Indians will leave their Hindu idolatry today and embrace Jesus. Now, I use that in a kind of just a general, denominational type of term. 14,000 every single day. Click.
So as you can see in the video, he is very boldly stating and almost bragging about the capability, capacity, and how many everyday Hindus are being converted to Christianity. So moving on. So here we have a few slides about the Joshua project, and we'll go more further into this just to see how organized they are. They have beautifully presented in a graph how many people are reached, significantly reached, partially reached, superficially reached, minimally reached, and completely unreached. So they have gone to a very micromanaged level, and very thoroughly they are presenting all the facts and figures and openly on a public website, showing the whole world to the stance which they are taking and how much of effort they are putting through. Here we have what they are calling the people groups. So basically, by country and across nations, they have grouped people as per sex and as per their castes and so on, and they have even put how in one group of that specific group how many individuals are there, totally how many are there. Very lot of in-depth work they have done, a lot of micromanagement they have done just for the sake of converting people. So by here we can see by country, across countries, and then the unreached people. They have, with so much of hard work and effort, they have done all of this. The Joshua Project has done an extensive work of classifying all the different groups and sects within India and the population as to how much of that group or sect is present in which part of India. You'll be surprised by the amount of effort and research the Joshua Project team has done for the sole purpose of organizing all the targets in order to convert them all into Christianity. So here you can see how they have. So for example, you can, under this drop down, you can see the number of sects which they have classified. And let's just choose one sect. They have even given the graph of how the population density in each sect, the population of that sect in each country. So they have done a very extensive job about us, and I don't think anywhere amongst Hindus this amount of research, this amount of diligence is there. Even we do not have this kind of information in our hands. So for the sake of conversion, how much of a hard effort they have done and put through. And you should all know this is all available in their public website. If you just type joshuaproject.net in your browser, you will be able to come across all of this. So now seeing the Joshua Project, seeing how organized they are and how much effort they have put through. Christianity didn't exist 2000 years ago. It is in the recent few thousand years only Christianity has even evolved and come to the state it is in now. Hinduism, as Hindus, we have been living here for more than 40,000 years. But Christianity, being such a very recent religion, is now the dominating religion all over the world, touching more than 2 billion people. So this kind of outreach has only been possible because the conversion, it is a part of their lifestyle, it is part of their faith, and it is a part of their belief. Because it is such, their outreach they have been enabled to have such a huge outreach and being able to touch so many people. For the past couple of days, Swamiji has been really insisting on the need for the Hindu nation. How Hindus are being reluctant warriors, not waking up, not defending and protecting what is ours, and the Hindu heritage which has been left to us by our ancestors and which is needed for the future of humanity. Swamiji, as his disciples, his devotees, it is our responsibility to make his vision into reality, to help and support in reviving the whole Kailasa nation, not just as the Hindu nation in one particular place, but as micronations all around the globe. So Swamiji has also shared recently that the future of Hinduism and the future of humanity are one and the same. When you revive, only if Hinduism is revived, humanity can be saved. So in such an importance Swamiji is giving for reviving Hinduism, and is expressing his need of how much Hinduism is needed for the world right now. Won't it make sense for us to adapt religious conversion, allow religious conversion, for the sake of being able to enable people to give to this level of outreach? Unfortunately, because for whatever reason, Hindus do not actively go and do this kind of conversions. It is not, as far as I know, it is not there even if in our belief. But in such a critical state, when the world is dependent now upon Hinduism, won't it make more sense to allow religious conversion for the sake of saving humanity, reviving humanity, and taking humanity to the next level? Because Christianity has been able, because they have the conversion in their laws, they are being able to push, and the drive is there for so much. So the question we have now, the Vakyartha Sadhas topic today is whether we should Hindus allow religious conversion or not. So by seeing the Joshua project and seeing the amount of effort they have done, will it make sense for us also to allow religious conversion, so that we will be able to run faster, run ahead, and be able to give the outreach like they have done? With this, Raja Maharaj will be continuing. What do you think, Maharaj, should be our point of stance on this?
Maharaj?
Yes, the Joshua project, actually, I had a chance to look at this site also last night, and the amount of when that guy in that video said clearly he was asked where are you in India, he's literally saying he's everywhere. By this evidence on this site, you can literally see they are everywhere with the amount of knowledge and info and data they have from almost every corner of India, from the down to the 100th population. They can tell what is their religion, what language they speak. So the extent of which they know and they have put their efforts is very incredible. But as far as Hindus allowing the religious conversion, in the case of Shri Kailasa, we've been discussing the same topic for the past few days, and I have come to an understanding that it is not a Hindu idea to convert. It is not in our nature. We do tremendous amount of enriching and give people an opportunity and a chance to grow into the religion in their own way, in their own path. It doesn't happen drastically as it happens in Christianity. People find their own way and make it into the Hinduism deeper and deeper in their own pace. It depends on how fast they take up the religion, how much they want to experience it, and how sincere they are also to it. It depends on many things. But specifically when it comes to our context, that we are taking Swamiji is taking the effort of making Sri Kailasa. For us to be able to become this organized and this aware of the amount of population that is there in India, and then if we were able to have this much amount of knowledge about how they had, even this side is even useful for us to be able to do even what kind of an enriching and what kind of cultures are out there. Because when it comes to Hinduism, Swamiji is very clear that he is creating a seed bank. He is not creating only one type of seed. He is creating a collection of all the varieties and all the systems. So we now can even use this information to go collect those seeds and go and do the enriching to say we are Sri Kailasa. We are here to save the religion that is being taken away from you, save the traditions that are taken away from you, give us the essence of it, and we can get an understanding about their lifestyle and their scripture and the whole thing, and we can do the great work of building Sri Kailasa seed bank. And as a part of that, we are enriching them, and we can enrich them ecosystem and engage them more into the benefits of what they can experience when they life transfer. That is information good to the where are we stuck at Hinduism? The question I wanted to present. Thank you.
So actually now we can go around the panel. Those of you, if you want to voice out your opinions, have something to add, or yourself have something to ask, you can go ahead and ask now. So basically the question which is being posed right now is, we have seen how organized the Joshua project is, and they have been able to come to that organization, being able to do that hard work simply because that conversion law exists in their religion. Hinduism, being so vast, being so deep, and being so powerful, lacks even 10-20% of the organization and effort which they have been able to put through. So a question which I have placed is, what should we, because of this, should we also start adapting the principle of conversion? Maybe not use it in the same way Christianity is doing, maybe we can change it out a little bit, but pretty much take the same pace forward and allow conversion, just for the sake of our outreach and for the sake because humanity needs us right now. Or Raja Maharaj has also placed a question here, what is stopping us from, like, what is stopping us, and why Christianity is able to do so much, and why Hindus are unable to even run even half the speed at which they are running at? So these are the two questions which are being placed now. Yes, you can go ahead and share. Yeah.
Essentially a cross similar to Jesus Christ's cross and a shield. So next morning what he did is he gave all his troops, all his soldiers, basically they made a cross on their shield and they went to the battlefield and they won. And after they won, what he did is he, in one of the big arena, he rounded up all the renowned disciples of Jesus and asked them to write the Bible. Okay. That is the genesis. That is where a organized Christianity started taking shape. Okay, just so that we all know, before this happened, the entire Europe, what is typically nowadays in the school books are called pagans, essentially what it means is they had a very diverse religious practices. And in Africa also, you had every villages had their own deity, more or less that we have in India. We have, means every villages had own deity. In fact, today, if you go to Somalia and some part of Africa, they still have those practices. They might not be predominant, they might be still outcasted, they are still trying to be forced, ridiculed, and trying to be converted. But the authenticity of their practice is so live and so vibrant, and the desire to seek truth is so vibrant, still it has not died down, even in the country like Somalia. Okay, so that is one aspect of it. But from a conversion aspect of it, if you look at it after 350 AD, when you had this empire, Roman Empire, he put together basically he called up all these disciples, well-known disciples of Jesus, and forced them to write the Bible the way he wanted it to be written, so that he can take the best, he can have a legitimacy to go after establishing an empire. Okay, so that is the genesis of essentially your in Bible, and that is the genesis of conversion. So essentially, if you look at the history of Europe, the entire pagans, like the native practitioner, European spiritual practitioners, they were forcefully converted. You might have heard the term called witch hunting. Witch hunting is essentially nothing but the entire practice started from when there is a person with supernatural ability and which cannot be explained, and they were the one who are distracting the conversion effort. What they used to do is they used to brand them as witch and used to kill them in public. Okay, that was it. That was the practice, and it took them about 600-700 years to convert the entire Europe into Christianity. So if you think in terms of a Christianity, what it is do you think it is a spiritual practice? Is it a spiritual practice? That is the very first question we need to pose in front of any Christian friends in a very, candid way. Is it a spiritual practice, or you are part of a power club? Okay, and if you look at the similar thing happened also in 600 AD when Islam arrived. It is most, if you look at the composition of Islam, it is, and the conversion and everything that goes along with it, you will also infer from that essentially it is not a spiritual practice to reach higher goals. It is mostly a power club, a way to create a mass following and rule them the way you want them to be ruled, and grab to the power, which is drawn on the basis of fear. That's why Christianity imbibes on the fact that you are a born sinner. That is digged into everybody's mind. And once, just a simple question, if any logical mind want to ask, okay, after Jesus, what are the phenomenal spiritual leader that came into existence, which is equivalent to Jesus, which doesn't exist in their religion anyway? But if you just ask, and why it has not happened? Why the miracles that happened to Jesus cannot be replicated by any other person? It is because it is just because it is a power struggle. It is basically entire consortium is built for power. It is nothing to do with spiritualism. Once we start understanding ourselves and understanding the means in which this conversion happens and genesis of conversion, maybe we can have a candid, open dialogue with ourselves, with our relatives, with the principal that we send our children to, with everyone. And strictly talking from a conversion point of view, Hindu way of conversion is essentially Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas in a bold, candid way. That is the Hindu way of conversion. And that means we do not take it sincerely. We Hindus do not take that responsibility sincerely. We do not take that responsibility to even debate and discuss with our family members, our relatives. We are afraid that some either will be outcasted. There is a fear, either will be outcasted or will be considered as too extreme. So that is the fear we have to get through. Each Hindu has to get through to do this job in a genuine, candid way. And it is not really a conversion; it is a candid discussion. And that will be my suggestion as far as Hindu conversion is concerned.
That's actually such a very beautiful point, Ayya, which you shared. Thank you so much, Ayya. So, actually, yes, one thing which Ayya had shared, I just wanted to add here. So, Swamiji himself has said many times in the satsang, Hindus are just embarrassed and ashamed of their religion. That's why they themselves are unable to accept and even face the questions which other people ask about their religion. It is a fundamental problem. If we solve, then this candid discussion and having the, as Aya beautifully put it, the Hindu way of conversion. It's not even a debate. It's just a candid opening, speaking out. It's like a chatting over a cup of coffee almost. Just having an open heart-to-heart discussion, which is all needed to bring a person to Hinduism. Thank you so much, Aya. Murali, could you? What do you think about this? What are your views and your points?
The new participant, as he addressed, like I also feel that we have to go back to the history of conversion and how the whole idea came about. What is the reason? What is the purpose from which they started doing what they were doing? It is only to amass power. That is the thing. So when we address this, when we start from this, we can understand a lot of phenomena what happened in the religion. True. The thing is, we have to get people ready to even talk. See, many people feel the need for, they look at only what their immediate needs are. They don't feel that they are actually going through any deep problem. See, okay, let me start all over again. Sorry. Conversion is not about just changing the name of deity that you utter. That is one thing which many people need to understand. It is not just a shift in the name of the deity that you prostrate before when you say conversion. Ultimately, what is it? So many people don't understand what is meant by spirituality. Swamiji once in his satsang said, let us get into the enquiry mode. Let us have some matured conversations. When he started talking about Upanishads, when Swamiji in his satsang started talking about Upanishads, he started, let us have some matured conversations. Let us get into the enquiry mode. That enquiry mode must be brought into. We must create a forum first before we discuss this. Why conversion, how conversion, whether it is needed or not, how it can happen and all that. And this we are here discussing in Hinduism, but we can challenge any other non-Hindu, non-practicing Hindu, non-Hindu and non-practicing Hindu and ask, is this even possible in any other faith? They have already objectified what God is. They have already decided what God should be, how they should be praying in front of, and then that is why we call themselves, or they call, we are calling themselves, we are calling them organized, but we are not interested in that organization, or we actually are interested more in transforming the individual. This basic difference has to be made clear first. Even many of the Hindus by birth but not practicing Hindus often talk about this as the great asset of the Christianity. They think, see, they have clear cut who God is. They have a clear cut book, what the ultimate book is, and all that. So they want everything to be objectified, but God is not meant to be objectified. Has to be clarified first.
Yes, I do agree with you, Murli. To basically, if there are two levels, there are many different kinds of circumstances that you will go through and many kind of peoples that you will interact with, right? For example, in Christianity, how many people have read the Bible start to finish? You will find very few would have read the Bible from start to finish.
They claim that they have done everybody has done that.
Yes, they will claim that. But ask them sincerely, with anyone who is claiming, if he's very close to you, sit down with them and start reading the Bible from start to finish. So
what do you get out of that?
Means what I'm highlighting here is, let's say that I have a very close friend and who is in this dilemma. Okay, I'm genuinely want to help him out. I should create a condition with him to read that Bible start to finish with him sincerely, both of them going point by point. Or let's say that my son gets affected. I'm just telling just for the sake of it, or someone very close, maybe brother, maybe my sister. So we need to have that courage, patience, and perseverance. Okay. So once we develop that perseverance to do this, take the next step, then people themselves, those who read from Bible from start to finish, at the end of the finish, they will realize what they're getting into.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is there is a yes.
Yes, actually, your point is what I've seen now in the conversation. It has moved from understanding that yes, we have a Hindu way of doing it. It is Jivartha Sadhas and a discussion. Yes, we can do.
Yeah.
We are not going to obviously do conversion in with putting a sword to somebody's neck and saying you better convert to Hinduism now. That is not going to be their way. But we are clear. We're going to be very peaceful about
Yeah.
it, and is also understood. But one thing
Yeah.
I wanted to bring out here. We are going to be peaceful about it, and we are going to be explaining things, and it's going to be a serious conversation with the intention to be persistent and have the will persistence to help them understand. That is also something we've now come to. But I have to say, I wanted to bring one point back. A Christian is converting somebody with the intention that they are going to save that person's soul. I think Hindus can also have that context. We can also have a context saying we need to save this
Correct.
person from his own delusions, his own problems. See, the urgency with which the conversion is taken up, right? See, I can see for some people who have third eye reading, who have these special beautiful initiations by Swamiji and Diksha, we have an ability to check and see how a person's thought currents are going to end up for them to have a very destructive negative life. We can see this, and we have seen this in our lives as an example. And the more and more we go around enriching people, we can see how that particular thought current they have will end up in a disaster later. And we're able to save that person's soul because we know we've been there, we've seen that happen, and we can say, I have to enrich this person not to go down this path. So in this way, we can feel and have that same vigorance and intention and urgency to go to somebody. So it's not about just having candid conversations. It's about taking those candid conversations, opportunities, and diving deep into the depths of what what Hinduism can bring out in people. And a person who may have some experience doing this, I wanted to ask Bhagwan Reddy Ayya, do you have any experience here? And when it comes to the conversations you had, and how you are able to reach to people with the teachings of Swamiji. Go ahead, Ayya.
Yeah, so Nithyananda Mall. Yes, so because I've been living in US, and when I didn't believe in God, Guru, or anything, I used to go. I was just out of curiosity when 98 and 2000, and when I was just all by myself here before the marriage, and I used to go to all these churches, the Catholics, non-denomination, Protestants, all kinds of these church denominations. I would go and visit, and then I would go to them with the Bible studies and things like that, right? So, and also in addition that they come to our house knocking the door and say, hey, have you seen the news, good news, and whatever thing. I told them, then India is going on, all those things. They commonly say that there is a fundamental difference between the Hindus and the Christianity and the Hinduism. In Hinduism, we believe we say and we believe you are divine. And in Christianity, you are a born sinner until you accept Jesus. It's fundamentally. So if you don't accept Jesus, you're guaranteed to go to hell. And so if there's all the people born before Jesus are guaranteed to go to hell, and they only have one shot. So I was telling those people when I was in the lunch meetings with my colleagues, Americans, right, Caucasians, when we were talking, I say, man, so what kind of a God is that? After all, a human being, as a father and mother, you give unlimited chances to your son to do a cycling or swimming or walking or things like that. What kind of a God, if he's better than a human being, gives only one shot, and then you have to go to hell or heaven? And whereas in Hinduism, you get unlimited number of chances to get to him, to get to the moksha. The loose translation is liberation, and that is what it is. So why are you converting? You are only converting just to, you don't know what you're doing, and you're just doing for the sake of your hegemony, hegemony or power, like as everybody pointed out right now. The Hinduism, to the first question, that should Hindus accept conversion? Absolutely no. Why? Humanity will extend, it is going to implode. Right? How it is going to implode? Wherever the Christianity gone, see, I'm living in America. The Christians have fought amongst themselves in Europe. They came to America and then destroyed the local traditions, and then they occupied and they call themselves, the locals, right? So how they have done? They have completely destroyed. Wherever they go, they just destroy. right? Just like a banyan tree, right? Anything under the banyan tree, nothing can grow, right? That's what they're, that's what they do it, right? The next one is, the Hinduism is the only religion the entire world has to accept and adopt for a peaceful coexistence. For if you see, 2000 years ago, Syrian Christians came to all over the world because they were persecuted. The India is the only country accepted them as another tradition, because we have Mukkodi Devatas. That means 3 crore or 3 million deities. One more is not going to be a big deal, right? So we have given them a shelter, helped them build their own churches, and peacefully coexisted from time immemorial. Even today, Hindus are the only religion talks about. Hindus means Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, and Jainis were all dharmic religions. Compared to Abrahamic religions, dharmic religions believe in all paths are sacred to the follower, and it's a peaceful coexistence. Whereas the Abrahamic religion says my way or the highway. If you don't believe in Jesus, you are guaranteed to go to hell, and then you are following a false god. And the same way the other way. If you don't follow my God, then you are the enemy of God. You are right to get killed and converted, right, by hook or crook. And that is a very dangerous path. It's going on, and conversion has to be stopped as an emergency basis, ASAP, number one. And how Hindus have to do. Number one is, we're all Kumbhakarnas, just sleeping giants. Until 2005, I was also sleeping giant. And they have been converting, and then we are all laughing at our own sea. The movies are making fun of us, and the media is making fun of us. Every goddamn it fellow is just abusing us, and we just making fun of it, and making fun of it, and we are laughing and having fun. And then so many TV serials have come up now. They're bashing Hinduism, and then we're just so desensitized and avoidant. So there is the problem. Like we have talking when Krishna was leading the Pandavas against Kauravas, a lot of great people were there. Karna was there, Bhishma was there, Drona, Krupacharya, all these people are there, like you were talking about that. So our own Hindus also don't know, they're on the wrong side of the path, the wrong side of the dharma. So why we need to first stop, and then we need to start awaken them and convert the whole humanity into Hinduism for peaceful coexistence. Hindus are the only people who accept all paths are valid to the God, or no path is also fine. Still you are okay. Even if you don't believe in anything, you are still a human being. You have a fundamental right to exist, pursuit of happiness, peace, and whatever you want to do it. But whereas the Abrahamic religions, no, they are intolerant towards anybody, including their own sects. They have 17 denominations in Christianity. They are intolerant towards themselves. Whereas Hinduism is the only one. We don't tolerate people. We accept, we embrace, and we ask for a peaceful coexistence. So the only reason to have a humanity survival is stop force with the conversion, and start propagating Hinduism, transform the whole world, and not using the sword, but with the power of Vakyartha Sadhas, Jivartha Sadhas, and by educating people, bringing the awareness. And first, most important thing is emergency need is that awaken our own Kumbhakarnas, and they have been sleeping. And that's, I think that's the number one thing. Once we are aware, and we are all intelligent, like Swamiji talks about in Living Enlightenment book, you are all intelligence. The intelligence is there. Once we bring the awareness to these people, they know what to do. They know how to stop it. We don't need to have a swords. We don't need to have a force. The awareness is enough to just stop the world. And they all will be absorbed. Like how an ocean absorbs all the streams, and like that. And Hinduism is like a huge ocean. It can accommodate everything and absorb itself, and then has converted the whole humanity into Hinduism. And that's the Hinduism is the only one which will have the humanity in perpetuity. Otherwise we'll have a pralaya, and we'll all be extinct, and will be and if